Joining us for all the updates on this big story is WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, over to you. What can we expect from these high-level, military-level talks that are scheduled for in just a short while from now? Now, India has maintained that it will not tolerate any change to the status quo.
Shobit, one thing I can tell you that before the military talks begin, there were diplomatic talks which took place on Friday between the joint secretaries of the Indian Foreign Ministry and the Chinese counterpart. And the basic focus was to diffuse tension. We know that both sides have focused on making sure that differences should not become disputes. And that was reiterated in the statements which came out by both the MEA and the MFA. And in fact, the Chinese envoy here in India also tweeted about it, saying that India and China can grow together. They can be in terms of a global situation, come together to counter the global situation as well. He talked about WHO as well. But by and large, today's military talks are important and crucial, given the fact that this could help ease out the tension. It has been more than 1 month since the face-off has continued, and we have seen comments coming from the Chinese mouthpiece, the Global Times as well, which of course hasn't helped in any ways. And given the fact that this crisis is coming at a time when the world is dealing with the COVID crisis, there is an understanding on both sides that it's better to resolve it, or better to make sure that any issue that might have cropped up to be resolved in the future date, rather than to discuss or create crisis right now, given the fact that the world needs resources right now to deal with the COVID crisis, not to deal with some kind of skirmishes or some kind of border face-off, which has continued for a pretty long time. In fact, there has been build-up by the Chinese on their side of the LOC. And of course, what has been the crucial issue is that fact that India has been building infrastructure on its side of LOC, and that is something that has perturbed the Chinese.
Absolutely, Siddhant. You know, it's very unfortunate that this border standoff is happening when the world and India is dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic that was first reported in China. However, let's continue to focus on the standoff in Ladakh at the moment now. Rajnath Singh had just in a couple of days back said a sizable number of Chinese troops are actually present in eastern Ladakh in a disputed region. So for our viewers, could you just clarify if Chinese troops are actually on the Indian side of the LAC or not?
Well, both sides are largely mum on where the troops are located. In fact, the Indian side hasn't conceded that there has been Chinese presence on the Indian territory. There hasn't been any statement by either the MEA or the Defense Ministry saying that there are Chinese troops on Indian territory. But what has been said is the fact that there is a difference in perception of the LAC, that is the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh, and of course that part of Ladakh, and that has caused some kind of confusion. In fact, the little thing which the Indian government has spoken is the fact that there is no violence which is happening currently, and of course it has, as you mentioned, the defense minister saying that there has been a sizable number of the Chinese forces present at the LAC. There has been clarification as well by the Indian government on sources that there is no presence of the Chinese troops on the Indian territory. But the fact that both sides are sitting and talking means that there is some kind of dispute which is happening at the LAC, which has been a cause of concern for New Delhi and of course for the Beijing as well. That is why both are sitting down and talking to make sure that the crisis eases out. This crisis coming 2 years after, in fact more than 2 years after Doklam crisis. And after that we saw both the Indian Prime Minister and the Chinese President Xi Jinping sitting together and coming up with a strategic guidance for both the militaries, saying that if there is some kind of dispute, they can come together, they can pick a call and call each other, and there is a local commander level mechanism to resolve any kind of issues that might have arisen. And it's not that after Doklam crisis, this kind of crisis has erupted. There have been many skirmishes, there have been many intrusions, but they have been able to solve it primarily because of the strategic guidance, which of course was mentioned by the MEA in its release as well, and that helped ease out the entire issue which might have erupted. And for that, they have been having informal summits as well. There have been 2 informal summits. First, of course, the famous Wuhan informal summit in 2018, followed by the Chennai Connect summit, informal summit in India. And the focus was to make sure that both India and China, as large countries with huge populations, huge economies, are sharing border, can come and make sure that the world has a factor of stability through this relationship.
Absolutely, Siddhant Sibal. Thank you so much for getting us all the updates. Let's hope that troops of both the nations and diplomatic talks can yield results and both the nations can resolve this issue peacefully.